Hello everybody. It's been a while since I've been posting a video or an audio. And I'm sorry for that, but life is busy. Life's getting better. We're working on it every day. So yeah, let's see how things work out, but I'm rather positive at the moment. But I've stumbled across a note that I did once I was deeply in. I started to write down my thoughts. And I thought maybe that's interesting for you to hear what I felt. I think I wrote that down in like 6 months ago. So right in the middle of my awakening. Yeah. So I thought I'd share that with you. I had to translate it from my mother tongue into English, so maybe not all the sentences are perfect English. But yeah, let's see. I would love to hear your thoughts on that. And here it goes. Everything seems meaningless. Worlds appear and disappear in insignificance. I rest on my bed and slowly realize that I have had delusions, that I was dogmatically determined to what is okay to believe, what is right to know, and what is legitimate to ask. I was taken captive by humans. Humans that hold a very specific interpretation of the Bible as the real deal, and themselves as the only ones being capable of creating, changing, or discarding such an interpretation. Or did I really follow the Bible? Something divine? Where do my doubts start? Where do I stop doubting? How much of my worldview do I have to question? Since I believe to have realized that my former convictions, how strong or weak they may have been, are wrong, or that I believe them to be wrong, since then, one question follows the other. On the one hand, that is an incredible relief. Finally, I can think without having to take into consideration how that matches with my own worldview, or more precise, with the imposed worldview. Any question now is allowed, independent from any opinion or the meaningfulness of the question itself. Maybe to arrive here is rather late with more than 30 years of age, but the main point is that those questions are being asked. On the other hand, it is an oppressive feeling, not exclusively due to the prospect of maybe losing almost everyone I love, in the sense of them probably refusing to talk to me in future, but also due to the loss I suffered, namely the loss of faith. Faith that everything has a higher meaning and purpose, that every suffering, all bliss, all aspirations and failures could be explained and were probably necessary, serving a higher purpose. The ultimate purpose to justify the God who created everything and elected a small elite group, less than 1 promille of humanity, to be his servants and therefore worthy of living altogether. Everything made sense so easily, so uncomplicated, so obvious, that what could only meet the fact that some people, well, factually most every human being, was unable or unwilling to grasp that truth with pure incomprehension. Or did I comprehend in secrecy? Have I just suppressed my doubts to avoid conflict within me? To keep my worldview intact, not allow anything to question it, to tamper with it, to maybe even bring it down? Right now, I'm standing in front of a pile of fragments of my former worldview, facing the huge task to build a new one. To face the question of good and evil, right and wrong, beautiful and ugly, happy and sad once again, from the very beginning. Reboot. Start from scratch. Is the fact that I never fully committed to my fading convictions of my former life indicative of me never fully believing all of it? Or have I just been too lazy, too comfy to fully go ahead with a witness life? Is it all true, and am I wrong, now stumbling on my way to certain destruction? I cannot imagine this to be the case. The evidence is too clear. The logic telling me that I was taken in by a forgery far too coherent. In one Star Trek Voyager episode, the Vulcan, Tuvok, says about Lieutenant Paris, "I wait until his own illogic overwhelms him." Like that, my former belief has been overwhelmed by the evidence that it is plain false. But how wrong have I been? How far to question is still meaningful? Shall I go from convinced Christian to a nihilist, not even believing that I'm writing those lines right now? The Matrix has you. Or doesn't it exist? Is there a God? What's the origin of the universe? Us humans and all dependent questions. Which questions are out there that I don't know of due to my superimposed and indoctrinated worldview, that Orwellian control that I allowed others to exercise in my life? At present, I feel that I have not yet understood what my clearance will actually mean for me. The only thing I know is that there is no way back, at least none that allows for mental sanity, and I'm unable to raise my child in a system that only seems right, that at least in some points is pretty wrong. The bodywork is only rust, but the paint is still fine. I assume there is no absolute truth, that objectivity is out of reach for us, that this actually is irrelevant. What does the conviction of an individual mean compared to the many others out there? To quote Vulcan Star Trek philosophy again, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. But I'm not objective, and I'm not many. I am myself, an individual in possession of the right to hold my own subjective opinion. That means, objectively, I am absolutely insignificant, but subjectively, I am the world. Everything depends on the eye of the beholder. In this case, my eyes. So I have to forget about the world, quit playing objectivity games, stop to believe everything needs to be forced into line. What counts, what really matters, are my thoughts, my arising worldview, and my evolving relationship to my family, friends, and, at the end of the day, to myself. I am now pursuing this journey as an explorer, about to discover my future and the future of my loved ones. And I hope that everything goes well, that it ceases to be meaningless. With this thunderstorm in a fishbowl that sometimes hits me like a tsunami, I'm still incredibly lucky. I'm not alone in the lifeboat riding the stormy waves. I have the most important people with me, my wife, knowing that she probably is asking herself the same questions that I attempt to write down right now, and also my child that is luckily too young to grasp all that consciously. And I owe all that to my child. I'm pretty sure that she can feel the discomfort, unease, and uncertainty, the temporary depressions, but still I'm convinced that my wife's and my attempt to provide her the most loving surroundings possible are honored with its happiness and the knowledge to have parents whose love is unconditional. I can feel that I can only bear with this state of mind I have while writing these lines for a certain period of time. Until a couple of months ago, I thought to be a devout witness of Jehovah, even a pretty exemplary one, good family life, regular meeting attendance, exemplary study habits, regular preaching, even taking the lead again, to the fullest. We are the Borg. Resistance is futile. But then there was something like a trigger event. My child sat in our living room with a child indoctrination brochure in the hands, shouting, "Hoover, Hoover." We were teaching our offspring that Jehovah God made everything, and Hoover was what our child's capabilities allowed it to say, referring to Jehovah. Hearing those words struck me like lightning. The feeling overwhelmed me that we were practicing merciless indoctrination, that we were training the good Borg. That was, as strange as it may seem, in full conflict with my convictions. I considered myself an advocate for free thinking. That this has to be God's will, the free thinking. How incredibly wrong I was about myself. How can I put up to my child to burn things in so early in lifetime? Am I really convinced of it? in retrospective, I think it is pretty safe to say that this wasn't the case. So I started my journey. A journey that allows my child to experience the life now instead of postponing most of the desires to an afterlife that might never actually materialize. And that now allows my wife and myself to pursue our own goals, to be who we are. Welcome to our journey. Yeah, well, that was what I had to say, what I had to write down, what was in my heart. So I hope you enjoyed it. And once the things that keep me pretty busy and my mind pretty occupied at the moment are less occupying, I plan to do some other videos. I have interesting thoughts. I have interesting things to talk about, I think. So I hope you bear with me. I hope you forgive my lower frequency of posting videos. I love to hear your thoughts. I love reading your comments. I'm very grateful for all that you write. So yeah, thank you for being part of my journey, and I hope it helps. Maybe you can, maybe it resonated with you. I wish you all the best, and till next time.